God, Jada Kiss, what's close to that? Now let's toast to that.
So let's toast
Cheers,
to
y'all.
that.
Just bring the bottles to me. If you got it from the streets, you probably
So
got it
let's
from
toast
me.
to that.
The streets took some of my closest friends. This ain't for y'all, this is a toast to them.
So let's
Welcome
toast
to
to
another
that.
episode of Maximilian Must Know. Sample shopping episode for you guys today. 4 different fragrances, all available from decantshop.com. 4 very different fragrances. Another thing I really like about decantshop.com is the different kinds of fragrances they have. So let's get into them and talk about it. Don't forget you can use my coupon code MAX12 to save you 12% off your entire order at decantshop.com. So the first fragrance we're looking at today is from the house of Dior. It is from their Privé line, and it is called Eau Noire. Now, I love Dior. Obviously, you guys watch this channel know it's one of my favorite houses. We've looked at many fragrances from Dior in the sample shopping series. We've even looked at Eau Noire years and years ago when this series started, and I didn't like it very much back then, and I wanted to retry it now that my taste has changed. I also didn't like Leather Oud when I first tried it. I didn't like Oud Ispahan when I first tried it, and I really enjoy those two now. I own quite a few fragrances from Dior, from the Privé collection, Mitza and Cure Canage. I'd like to purchase Ambre Nuit, Leather Oud, and Patchouli Imperial. I need to try Balade Sauvage and Purple Oud. This one was discontinued, and it was composed by Francis Kurkdjian in 2004 and has notes of sage, lavender, thyme, Virginia cedar, immortelle, coffee, saffron, leather, violet, vanilla, and licorice. If you're unfamiliar with immortelle, it is a plant, a bush that is sort of a cross between a maple syrup and curry. It's very interesting, and I've been really into immortelle fragrances recently. I've really been enjoying wearing Sables by Nick Goutal, which is sort of very much focused on immortelle, and this has immortelle in it as well. It's a really good fragrance, this one. You get some lavender, some syrupy lavender here. There's definitely cedar, there's coffee. It's gourmand. There's a little bit of that curry thing going on, but I actually enjoy that. Doesn't take away from the fragrance in my estimation. It's a really good fragrance. I like it much more than I did when I first tried this one. And if it was available now, I'd probably buy it. And I should have bought it in retrospect, because it's definitely one of the best from this line. It's really nice. It's almost got a barbershop-y feel with this syrupy lavender and a little bit of maple syrup and this little curry note, and there's licorice in this one. It's just very dark green. Eau Noire obviously means black water, and this is just an excellent fragrance. I can't recommend this one enough. If you're able to try this one, I would recommend trying it. The next one is from the house of Guerlain, and it's called Samsara. We talked about Guerlain last week when we looked at L'Heure Bleue, which I loved. The way I know of this fragrance is there was a song by the rap group Cellar Dwellers in like 95 called Perfect Match, where he's going out on a date with a girl and he's talking about getting ready and meeting her, and he says flavors of the night, Fahrenheit and Samsara, or something to that effect. Flavors of the night, Samsara and Fahrenheit. And I knew Fahrenheit was what he was wearing, but I guess Samsara is what the girl was wearing. It's a 1989 release from Jean-Paul Guerlain, and it's got notes of green, notes, peach, ylang-ylang, bergamot, lemon, iris, violet, orris, jasmine, rose, narcissus, sandalwood, tonka bean, amber, musk, and vanilla. And you can find this for $25 online. As far as I'm concerned, guys, this is a unisex scent. Really nice, creamy sandalwood. There's some peach here, some florals. To me, it's sandalwood, peach, and florals. A little bit of tonka, musky, very much unisex. Anyone who likes sandalwood scents could pull this one off. It's excellent. This is one that I'm definitely going to consider buying, because I don't consider this a women's scent. I just consider this a really nice sandalwood scent. It's a little feminine because of the florals in here, but it's just got that nice Guerlain sort of layered thing going on, where there's just a lot going on, but it's led and sort of grounded with that wonderful, wonderful sandalwood. So this is one I would definitely recommend. I think it's good and very much unisex. The next one we're going to talk about is from the house of Cremo. This is called Crema Reserve. This is the shaving brand that is featured at Target. I recently purchased a couple of products from them, including their, they have a body wash that's supposed to be similar to Silver Mountain Water, and I recently purchased that, and I can tell you that it definitely is similar to Silver Mountain Water. I guess it's birch, silver water and birch or something like that. And then I also purchased their shaving cream, which doesn't really lather well, but anyway, this is their Reserve Blend Cologne, and it's not offered anymore. Wasn't expensive when it was, and has notes of bourbon, vetiver, and oak, so not much there. And yeah, that's sort of the thing with the fragrance. It's okay. It's sort of this generic. To me, when I first smelled it, I was like, oh, Aventus. And I get it's a little different than Aventus. It's a little more gourmand and woody than Aventus, but I really think Aventus was sort of the idea behind this. And it's just okay. It's not that good. It's got a woody, oaky sort of thing, going on here. But it's got that pineapple-y ambroxan thing. And to me, I come back to Aventus, and I think they're trying to make this smell like Aventus with a little bit of variation. I guess if you could find it super cheap, it might not be the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely, you've smelled this a million times before, put it like that. So I'm not super impressed with the first Cremo fragrance that I've smelled. And then last but not least, we have one from the house of Ralph Lauren. This is Polo Vintage, the green bottle vintage. I love what Polo does with their fragrances. They haven't done much well in a while. I own Supreme Mood, Supreme Leather, Polo Black, and Big Pony 1. I'd like to check out their Amber scent from the Treasures of Safari higher end line. And I'd like to buy this vintage if possible. I'd like to buy Polo Sport vintage if possible, and Safari vintage if possible. I really like their older scents. They're nostalgic to me, obviously. I've talked about my love for the designer Polo. This was done by Carlos Benem in 1978. Has notes of artemisia, coriander, caraway, juniper, basil, bergamot, carnation, leather, chamomile, pepper, jasmine, rose, pine needles, geranium, amber, patchouli, musk, oak, moss, vetiver, cedar, and tobacco. A lot going on. $45 to $50 online, discounted for the current formulation. This is the fragrance, the first fragrance I've ever wore. And yeah, I talked about Fahrenheit being the first one that I ever bought, but my father wore this. This is what he wore, and so when I was like 11 and I wanted to think I was mature, I'd spray on a couple sprays of green Polo green, and it smells exactly like what I remember. Just very fresh, very piney, very green, mossy. Definitely like pine is what I associate this scent with. Green pine, spicy, fresh, barbershop-y thing. And I love it. I think it's excellent. You have to like this kind of scent or it's going to turn you off. But if you have nostalgia for it, or you like these kind of fragrances that are about, artemisia and basil and leather and pine needles and oak moss and vetiver, then you'll like this, and I certainly do. I don't know if it's something I'll wear all the time, but I certainly want a vintage bottle in my collection. And so if I'm ranking these, pretty easy for me to do. Eau Noire is far and away number one, and if I could purchase that, I would. Polo Green, for the nostalgia factor, is number two. I love that, and I will purchase a vintage bottle at some point. Samsara, number three. I would purchase that at the right price. I think it's a great sandalwood fragrance for a good price. And Crema Reserve is number four, and to me, it's just not that impressive. It's not a horrible scent, but been there, done that. I've smelled a million things like it. I can understand why men across the United States for $10 might be excited by this, but if you're in the game, it's probably not going to excite you. So next week, we're going to take a look at four more fragrances. We'll look at one from the house of Lomani. I've never smelled a Lomani fragrance before, so we'll break that cherry next week. We'll look at another one from Prada. I said we'd look at one from the La Femme line and one from the L'Homme line. So let's look at one from the L'Homme line next week. So Lomani, Prada, another from Guerlain, from their Arts and Materials collection. So excited to look at another Guerlain, higher end Guerlain, and one from Parfum de Marly that I haven't smelled before. So nice lineup next week: Lomani, Prada, Guerlain, and Parfum de Marly. So don't forget to check in. Not next week, it'll be the week after. Go to decantshop.com where you can purchase any of the fragrances we talked about tonight. Use that coupon code MAX12 to get you 12% off your entire order. And I'll see you again real soon with more videos, guys. You know what it is. My name obviously is Maximilian.
May all your ups and downs be in between the sheets. There's only two choices, the powder or the hard, son. Jada the forefather and Fred the godson.
Jada Kiss top 5, Fred is the future. Yeah, it's about to get ugly. Medusa.